What if I told you that nothing in your life is real until you decide it is? Stop for a second and feel this idea. That worry keeping you awake at night, that feeling of being stuck, that bank account you check with anxiety. What if all of that were just one possibility among infinite others, waiting for your gaze to solidify it? The most advanced science today confirms what mystics have known for centuries. Reality isn't something fixed that happens to us. It's a canvas of energy that responds to our consciousness. This is the heart of the observer effect, a principle from quantum physics proving that the simple act of observing something, of placing your attention on it, changes its very nature. We've been educated to be passive spectators of our own lives, reacting to a script we believe is already written. That's the invisible error keeping us trapped. We try to change our reality while continuing to observe it with the same eyes that created it. We struggle, we strive, we ask the universe for help, but we do it from the belief that the problem is out there. But what if there existed a way of seeing, a state of being that doesn't need to force anything, but simply through its silent presence collapses a new reality? There's a secret in the way you observe the world, a key that changes everything. By the end of this journey together, you'll understand how to activate it. If you feel deep within that these words aren't a coincidence, that they resonate with that part of you that's always known there's something more, I invite you to subscribe. Because this isn't just a channel, it's a space to remember together how to use the eyes of the soul. The paradigm shift. We've believed with our whole hearts that to change our lives we needed to do more affirmations, more visualizations, more rituals, more effort. We've focused on action, on the struggle to mold a reality that feels dense and resistant. But here lies the premise that changes everything, a truth so simple our complex minds often overlook it. It's not about attracting anything, it's about selecting a reality. You see, quantum physics teaches us that all possible versions of your life already exist as potential in the energetic field. The abundant life, the loving relationship, complete health, these aren't castles in the sky. They're frequencies available in this very instant. Your true power then doesn't reside in building something from scratch, but in tuning into the vibration of that reality that's already yours in the invisible plane. The real secret is this: you stop trying to change the world and begin changing the observer perceiving that world. Because the observer effect doesn't respond to what you ask with your mouth. It responds to who you're being in your heart. The universe doesn't deliver what you want. It delivers a mirror of what you already are at an energetic level. And that powerful gaze we spoke of at the beginning, that silent observer, is precisely that. Consciousness viewing the world from the perspective of the person who already has what they desire. It's a subtle shift, but absolute. You stop being the victim of your reality to become its silent architect, selecting with your frequency which version of the world you'll give life to. The science behind the magic. So how does this actually work? How is it possible that your attention can mold matter? This may sound like a fairy tale, but it's grounded in the most solid and revolutionary physics of the last century. Think about the famous double-slit experiment, the cornerstone of quantum mechanics. In simple terms, scientists discovered something that defies all common logic. When they didn't observe subatomic particles, these behaved like a wave of infinite possibilities, as if they were in all places at once. They were pure potentiality. But the instant they placed a detector to watch which of the two slits the particle passed through, it abandoned its wave state and collapsed into a specific point in space. It became matter, something real and measurable. Think deeply about this. The simple act of observing forced energy to make a decision. This, my dear community of seekers, is the observer effect in its maximum expression. It's not a theory, it's a proven fact. Consciousness affects physical reality. Now let's translate this into the language of our lives, into the process of quantum manifestation. Imagine the quantum field as an infinite ocean of energy, and each drop is a possible reality for you. The life of abundance, the one of loneliness, the one of success, the one of failure, all coexist as waves of potential. Your attention, charged with the energy of your emotions, is the detector in the experiment. Where you place your sustained focus, with feeling, with conviction, that's where the wave of possibilities collapses to become your life experience. That's why quantum manifestation isn't about thinking positively occasionally. It's about maintaining vibrational coherence. As neuroscientists like Dr. Joe Dispenza explain, you can't expect a new reality if you keep feeling the emotions of the past. Your habitual state of being is the observation you're constantly sending to the quantum field. If you observe your life from lack, you're instructing energy to keep creating more lack. The observer effect doesn't judge, it only obeys. That's why, for those of us on this path, the highest practice isn't doing, but being. It's learning to hold the frequency of the reality we desire until that observation becomes so dominant that the universe has no choice but to materialize it before our eyes. Where we've gone wrong, and it's precisely here, in attempting to apply this knowledge, where most of us have sabotaged ourselves without realizing it. With the best intentions, we've taken powerful tools and used them in a way that ironically reinforces the reality we want to leave behind. Think about it carefully. How many of us have practiced visualization, closing our eyes to imagine the life of our dreams, but feeling in every cell of our body the painful absence of that reality? We visualize abundance, but our nervous system continues vibrating at the frequency of debt. That conflict, that incoherence, is the order we send to the quantum field. Another classic behavior, affirmations. We stand in front of the mirror and repeat, "I am enough, I am prosperous." But it's like shouting at a mountain, expecting it to move. Inside, a silent voice, much more powerful, whispers, "You don't believe it." The universe doesn't respond to the volume of your words, but to the truth of your vibration. And perhaps the most subtle trap we've fallen into is the desperate search for signs. We ask for a feather, a number, a butterfly, anything to confirm that the quantum manifestation process is working. But this act that seems like faith is actually anchored in doubt. It's like planting a seed and digging it up every hour to see if it's growing. With this attitude, we're using the sacred observer effect to focus our attention on impatience and distrust. Without knowing it, we observe the absence of manifestation, and the quantum field, always obedient, delivers exactly that: more absence, more waiting, more frustration, the liberation. And if hearing this brought a pang of recognition, if you saw yourself reflected in that exhausting cycle of trying and failing, I want you to stop and breathe deeply with me. Inhale, exhale. You haven't done anything wrong. You're not broken, and you haven't failed. On the contrary, your effort is proof of your deep longing, of your soul's courage to seek a more meaningful life. The problem has never been your lack of dedication or your worthiness. Never. The problem has been the approach. You've been using a map they gave you upside down. You've been rowing with all your strength, but against the current. You've been trying to change the reflection in the mirror, shouting at it and begging it, without knowing that the only real power you have is to turn around and look elsewhere. And this, believe me, is the most liberating news you can receive, because it means you don't need to try harder, you don't need to fight more, you don't need to convince anyone or anything. The only thing required of you is a change of direction in your gaze, a readjustment. The colossal power you've been using to observe and therefore sustain your reality of lack is exactly the same power you're going to use to collapse a reality of abundance. You don't have to acquire new power, you already have it. The observer effect has been working perfectly all this time. You're just now going to learn to use it consciously. If these words bring you relief, if you feel like a weight is lifting from your shoulders, I invite you to like this video, not as a number, but as an act of energy, as a way to expand this wave of relief, so other people who right now feel lost and frustrated can find this message and remember it's not their fault. The practice of conscious observation. Now I want to invite you to pause, just for an instant, without judgments, without correct answers, just with kind curiosity toward yourself. I propose a question, and you don't have to answer it aloud, just feel it. During today, where has your attention been most of the time? Not where you would have liked it to be, but with brutal honesty. In what thoughts, in what sensations, in what worries has your mind dwelled? Has it been in gratitude for what you already have or in fear of what you lack? Allow the answer to emerge without embellishment, because that silent and powerful gaze we spoke of at the beginning, that key to the observer effect, isn't a technique you have to learn. It's your natural state of power to which you return. It begins the precise instant you realize what you're gifting your creative energy to. People like us, who have already felt this call to awaken, understand that the first step isn't changing the world, but becoming owners of our focus. That's the true beginning of quantum manifestation. Sovereignty over one's own attention is the awakening of the conscious observer. 3 practical actions. So how do we begin practicing this in real life, amid the chaos, bills, and routines? The answer is much simpler than you think. It's not about doing a month-long retreat or meditating 8 hours a day. It's about microdoses of coherence. I propose 3 small but incredibly powerful actions. The first I call the evidence hunt. Every day, put yourself on the deliberate mission of finding 3 pieces of proof, however tiny, that the reality you desire is already beginning to form. Do you want abundance? A coin found on the street is evidence. An unexpected discount is evidence. Do you want love? A stranger's smile, a kind gesture from a colleague is evidence. By doing this, you actively train your brain to use the observer effect in your favor, focusing on what is there. The second practice, the 3-minute emotional anchor. Twice a day, set an alarm. When it sounds, stop. Close your eyes and for just 3 minutes feel the emotion of your desire fulfilled. Don't think it, feel it in your chest, in your hands, in your smile. This isn't simple visualization, it's a calibration of your frequency. You're transmitting the signal of your future to the quantum field. The third, the attention diet. Choose 1 hour a day, just one, where you commit to not consuming any information that reinforces your old story. No crisis news, no complaints on social media, no conversations of scarcity. In that hour, nourish your new observer. The key isn't intensity, but constant repetition. People in this community applying these microdoses of quantum manifestation are seeing transformations because each act is a vote for their new self. The journey forward. I need to be completely honest with you. On this transformation path, there will be days when you forget all of this. There will be moments when the old narrative, that voice of fear and scarcity, will sound so loud it will seem like the only truth. Your attention, by force of habit, will slide toward worry and doubt. And when that happens, I want you to remember these words. You're not failing, you're healing. Those relapses aren't a sign the process doesn't work. They're the echo of programming being dismantled. True progress in the art of quantum manifestation isn't measured by the absence of bad days, but by how long you stay in them. At first, you might spend a whole day trapped in the old frequency. With practice, you'll notice it in an hour, then in minutes, until the day comes when you feel the energy of doubt, and instantly, with compassion and without judgment, you choose again. You choose to refocus your observer effect. Those of us committed to this journey, the community walking with us, know this is part of the dance. We're not seeking perfection, we're seeking consciousness. Each time you return to your center, your muscle of conscious choice strengthens. You're not alone in this. It's the very nature of human transformation we all share. Your declaration to anchor this decision in your being. I invite you to perform a small but profound symbolic act. I want you to go to the comments section and write a single word. I choose. Let it not be just text on a screen, but a decree, the signature of a new contract with yourself and with the universe. The inflection point where you stop being an accidental observer of an inherited reality and become the deliberate observer of the reality your soul longs for. And with this, the mystery of that silent gaze we spoke of at the beginning is finally revealed. The great secret, the key that changes everything, wasn't a complicated technique. The most powerful gaze, the one that activates the observer effect to materialize miracles, is simply the gaze that dares to choose. The power wasn't in an external formula. It has always resided in your sovereignty to decide what you give the gift of your attention to. By writing I choose, you join a collective energy field. Read the other comments. Feel the force of thousands of souls who, along with you, are awakening. You're no longer the person waiting for life to change. From this moment forward, you are the conscious creator, the deliberate observer. This isn't an identity you have to build. It's the truth of what has always been and that you're now simply remembering. This path doesn't end with this video. It barely begins. Each breath, each thought, each choice of where you place your attention is a new opportunity to practice this mastery. The observer effect is your inherent tool, your cosmic brush. Your only and joyful task is to direct it with intention, love, and coherence. If this vision resonates with your personal journey, if you feel in your heart that you belong to this space of exploration and awakening, then I invite you to subscribe and activate notifications. Do it as a natural gesture of someone who has found their tribe. On this channel, we'll continue deepening together, exploring the tools and consciousness necessary to navigate this magnificent adventure of being a reality creator. Thank you for your time, for your energy, and for your courageous decision to remember who you are. See you in the next one.